How you get so big getting food of this kind?
Alright, hi, welcome back in. I know you hear me say this every week, but boy, did I like this episode of Star Wars Resistance. This week's episode, Synara's score, was just so much, again, it was action and spy and pirates and all of this different stuff, and what I like so far with the show is they really have these different themed elements that they can do. They can have a spy themed episode, they can have a First Order themed episode, they can have a racing themed episode, they can mix it in with different combinations. It really makes it feel like there's a lot going on with the show, even though there is a select number of plots that they can have, because they're kind of all on this island, they're on the Earth station, they're all on the Colossus, and they kind of get away with not having a diversity of locations by always having a different feel with a different combination of things going in episode to episode. So the first thing I can say about this episode is there was so much Tam, and that really, really made me happy. One of the early things I said about the show is it was great getting to know Kaz's character. I like Kaz as a character. He's probably grown on me faster than any other main Star Wars cartoon character has done before, but there's all these other characters in the show. I really want to get to know them too, and I feel like there's a lot more with Tam than meets the eye, and so it was good to kind of see her get fleshed out more and see her as kind of a co-main character as opposed to just Kaz. I really like that she bonded with the pirate Synara, who we saw in the previous episode, really fast. It's pretty obvious that Kaz has kind of a thing for Synara. I think that's less out of anything stable and more out of she's pretty and moves, and where Tam seems annoyed at Kaz for just trying to chat up some random lady, rather than having like a rivalry about it or picking on Kaz about it too much, she just genuinely forms her own friendship with Synara, and I think that we're gonna see a deeper emotional connection there between these two characters, especially as later on, actually I realize now that I forgot to give you guys a spoiler warning. If the thumbnail wasn't enough, spoiler warning, but later on when Tam worries about Synara and goes to help her, Tam is doing this because she's genuinely trying to form this friendship. And I liked seeing that it wasn't just Synara who has come in and already kind of has this connection to Kaz, because Kaz is the one that brought her back to the station, that Synara is kind of becoming connected to multiple characters within the show, and that we can see Tam forming friendships outside of the need for Kaz to be the catalyst for all of these friendships. Albeit, I mean, he kind of was, really no more than literally being responsible for their introduction. That said, we saw a lot of good stuff with Kaz in this episode that I really appreciated. Up until this point, it's been a lot of Kaz is bad as a mechanic. Tam and Niku actually fix everything. This time we see Kaz go off with Yeager, and Kaz actually fixes something. He actually manages to successfully rig this computer into the big building thing, and he doesn't do it through slapstickness with Yeager. Like, all of that is going on, but ultimately what gets, the computer oriented correctly is Kaz's quick thinking, and Kaz actually takes on a Trandoshan pirate and is actually able to stick up for himself. It was less of Kaz kind of accidentally defeating evil through the power of slapstick, and more Kaz actually having some skill that he puts to use. And I like this because we are seeing a growth in Kaz that, albeit has taken 7 or 8 episodes, depending on how many episodes you count the pilot as. We're seeing that growth that has taken a certain amount of time, but it's also not taking seasons and seasons and seasons to get there. So I appreciated that as well. And one thing the show is doing really well is you have this episode that was arguably largely about Tam and Synara, but you still manage to have a character arc for Kaz within it, and that they're able to put in that much story that effectively within a 22-minute span. The one character we really haven't gotten to know any more about is Niku, but Niku continues to be wonderful. Just the covering up his mouth gag cracks me up. I just love how literally he takes everything, and I love that he's just so innocent and pure and has no desire to be anything else like that. Like, so often you kind of see the shy, awkward character who's like, I need to stop being so shy and awkward, and Niku is just like, this is who I am. I don't even see the need to change because I'm just so genuinely happy and comfortable with myself that I can kind of be this goofball character, and I really appreciate that. I think it's kind of a smart move, because even where he's kind of, the source of the humor in the show, he's also kind of the source of the heart of the show, just because I think in this time when there's so much going on, we all kind of want that person that's just that kind. And of course with Yeager, we get to see Yeager be a pilot. We've been told in past episodes that he was this great pilot, he used to be a racer, and we haven't really gotten to see evidence of that, and this time we get to see Yeager take on pirates from the comfort of a load lifter, or whatever the thing was he was driving on, and that was really cool to see. One quick production-y kind of thing, I don't know if you noticed this while watching, but what was blowing my mind was the kind of what they call rack focuses in the episode, where Synara will be talking to Kaz, and then like Tam says something behind him, and Kaz goes out of focus and Tam comes into focus, and then they kind of come back to Kaz. And that was really impressive how they did that. Now, obviously, because it's animation, it's an effect, more so than it is something that you would see where you'd have to like time it just perfectly with a live action camera. But it's really cool because with animation, you really have to think to add that there. And there's just other parts of the episode where things in the foreground that are in focus and things in the background that are not. I don't know, it really, really impressed me from an animation level, where even though I'm still not the biggest fan of the style of animation, it's clear that there's a lot of effort and talent being put into the animation itself. So that's what I would say is if you're watching this and you're not sure how you feel about it, or you've heard people say bad things about the animation, it's literally just a style thing. Like, you either like the style of the animation in the show or you don't like the style, but the animation itself is fantastic. Right, the actual animation itself is really, really well done. It just comes down to, do you like the aesthetic of it or don't you? The other thing this episode did is I think it kind of answered the question on whether or not Doza is the quote-unquote mole or spy for the First Order. I think it's pretty clear that while he's in communication with the First Order, it's literally from the point of the First Order as a government is contacting him as the local government for the Colossus, and they're clearly using these pirates to try to strong-arm him into joining them, and because of that, I don't think he can already be an agent for them. I really just think that if there's going to be another agent for the First Order, it's not going to be Captain Doza. It might be this guy, because, to be honest, a janitor knows everyone's dirt. But that's what I have to say this week. I'm really excited, not just for the episode itself, but I'm excited to see where the episodes go from here, and it seems like we're kind of setting up a little bit of a character arc with this Synara character, and that she might become a more important character in episodes going forward, and I'm really happy to see that. But please let us know what you thought of this episode, what you think of the show so far. Leave a comment, follow us on Twitter at Porthaven Forums, and visit port-haven.com for even more. And until next time, keep it real and fly casual.
Cooking candy box.